Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Today my group will explain about the rent to own scheme, also known as RTO. Before we start, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Nuratika Binti Azman. My matric number is 2023X78884.
Hi, my name is Nastasha Kristina Beti Zarizan and my ID number is 2023466666 and 6.
Hi, my name is Yusafia Alia binti Ghazali. My student number is 2023878584.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Atika binti Zairi. Student number 2023804334.
Rent to own scheme is basically a housing arrangement where you rent first and then you have the option to buy later. Usually, the tenant will rent the house for a fixed period, normally between 5 to 10 years. During this period, a portion of the rent paid every month may be credited toward the down payment of the house. This scheme is especially helpful for people who cannot afford a big upfront payment or those who don't qualify for a bank loan yet. So in simple words, you rent now and you have option to buy later. Next, let's look at the key features of the RTO scheme. First, there is a rental period before purchase, usually 2 to 5 years depending on the agreement. Only after this period, the tenant becomes eligible to buy. Second, the option to the purchase. At the end of the rental period, the tenant can choose whether or not to buy the house. It is not compulsory. Third, a portion of the rent goes towards the purchase. This means some of the rent paid will trade like a saving and later used as a down payment. Next is the price agreement. Usually, the house price is fixed from the start and of the RTO agreement. This protects the tenant from the future price increase. Then, we have eligibility criteria. RTO is more flexible. Tenant may still qualify even if they don't have strong credit score. Lastly, ownership transfer only happen after the tenant decides to buy and complete the payment. Until then, the tenant is still renting. Finally, let's compare RTO with the normal housing purchase. For initial payment, RTO requirements a smaller upfront cost, while normal purchase usually need 10 to 20% of the house price. For ownership, RTO tenants do not own the house until they exercise the purchase option, but normal buyers become the owner immediately after signing the agreement. In terms of financial flexibility, RTO allow gradual saving because rent may contribute to future purchase, while normal housing loans require full mortgage payment. Next is commitment. RTO is optional. You may choose to buy or not, but normal housing is a fixed commitment once your loan is signed. For eligibility, RTO is more accessible, especially for people with lower saving or weaker credit score. Lastly, protection against market change. In RTO, the price can be locked at the start, but for normal purchase, buyer can pay the current market price, which may increase over time.
Why RTO exists? There are three main reasons why the rent to own scheme exists in Malaysia. Number one is housing affordability problems. Second one is high upfront payment. The third one is government policy intentions. Housing affordability problems. In Malaysia, house prices continue to increase every year. The growth of property prices is normally faster than the growth of people's salaries. Because of this, many Malaysians struggle to buy a home because property prices are rising faster than household income. For example, a young couple wants to buy a 300,000 ringgit house, but their salary is not enough to get a loan now. Therefore, RTO allows them to rent first and buy later. Next, high upfront payment. buyers are required to pay a minimum 10% of the property's purchase price, which many low to middle income households cannot afford the upfront. For many young buyers, this is difficult because they have other costs like transportation costs, electrical and water bills, and their living expenses to cover. Here, RTO reduced this barrier by allowing households to rent first and save money slowly, which makes owning the house becomes more possible for them. For example, if a house costs for 400,000 ringgit Malaysia, the tenants will be required to pay at least a 40,000 ringgit Malaysia upfront. Most first-time buyers, especially between age 25 to 35, cannot save this amount. Lastly, government policy intention. RTO is introduced as part of national housing initiatives. The goal of this policy is to close the gap between the supply and demand for housing. Therefore, the Malaysian government aims to increase home ownership rates among low-income households. For example, PRIMA and government state housing programs include RTO options so that more Malaysians, especially B40 or M40, can become homeowners. This shows that the government sees RTO as an important tool to help citizens own homes in the long term.
I will explain about where is RTO is implemented. Rent to Own in Malaysia is implemented nationwide through government affordable housing programs, private developer initiative and bank supported schemes. Although it exists across the country, it is most concentrated in urban and semi-urban regions where housing demand is strong. Overall, RTO applies mainly to affordable and mid-range home and participation levels differ by state depending on policy direction, developer involvement and local market conditions. At the national level, RTO is recognized as part of Malaysian long-term housing affordability strategy. It appears in national budget and major development plans such as the 12 and 13 Malaysia plans. The federal government used RTO to support households that can afford down payments, especially for properties priced between 150,000 and 500,000 ringgit. This allows RTO to be implemented whenever eligible affordable housing projects are developed. In public housing, RTO is offered only in selected areas. The government is introducing a new or improved RTO model under the 13 Malaysia Plan, but not every state adopts it. For example, certain people's housing projects in Sabah do not provide an RTO option. This shows that public housing RTO depends on state policy and agency decisions. In the private sector, many developers and banks run their own RTO schemes. Examples include Maybank's House Scheme and SP Setia Flat Scheme. These schemes are typically launched in high-demand locations, especially those targeting young buyers. Geographically, RTO is more common in major and growing cities such as Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Penang and Johor Bahru, as well as secondary cities like Ipoh, Kuantan, Melaka, Kota Kinabalu and Kuching. The distribution reflects market demand and developer planning rather than legal requirements. RTO also varies by housing type. It is mainly used for affordable and mid-range apartments, low and medium cost flats and selected landed units. Some schemes include newly completed unsold homes, while House Key covers a limited number of subsale properties. Finally, RTO operates under a structured policy environment involving the Economy Ministry, the Housing Ministry, National Housing Agency and participating banks. Under the 13 Malaysia plans, the government aims to streamline this role under a single housing agencies, ensuring RTO remains part of Malaysia's regulated housing and financial system. Thank you.
Now, let me briefly explain the step of the rent-to-own process. The process starts with applying for schemes. Applicants must fill the official application form either online or at the relevant office and submit key documents such as their identification and proof of income. Once submitted, the agency will check eligibility. They will verify the applicant's income, employment, and other criteria to ensure they meet the requirements of the scheme. All documents will be reviewed before approval is given. After applicants After the applicant is confirmed eligible, the next step is sign the rental agreement. The applicant will go through the tenancy terms, clarify any doubts, and then sign the contract. A copy of the agreement will be kept for future reference.
I will explain about monthly payment, portion of rent rules, saving, or down payment, and household rights during rental periods. Paying monthly rent. While the households are in the house, the rent needs to be paid every month, like a normal tenant. This rent is usually slightly higher than normal market rent because part of it will be contributes towards future purchase, which means that the tenant will enjoy the house first while preparing to buy it later. For example, the tenants rent a house for 1,000 ringgit per month. Every month, they will pay 1,000 ringgit to the developer or the bank. Lastly, tenants' right during rental period. As an RTO tenant, you will receive stronger protection than normal renters. The developer or bank cannot kick you out unfairly during the rental periods, and the tenants have the first right or priority to buy when nobody else can buy the house while they are in the scheme. For example, a Prima home is being rented by you. As long as you follow the agreement, you have the right to buy it before anyone else, even if someone wants to buy it.
Now, I will continue with who offers RTO in Malaysia. RTO is offered by three main groups: financial institutions, private developers, and government agencies. Under financial institutions, the two main banks offering RTO are Maybank Housekeys and CIMB RTO. Next, private developers that run their own RTO program are EcoWorld through their Stay to Own or STO program, Saindabi Property with their RTO program, and Mahsing with their developer RTO scheme. Finally, RTO is offered under government agencies, mainly to support affordable housing initiative. These include Perumahan Rakyat 1 Malaysia Prima, Residensi Wilayah Rumah WIP, The Selangor RTO Program, and Perumahan Pejawa Awam Malaysia PPAM. Next, we look at who is involved in the rent-to-own process. Firstly, we have the buyers, also known as tenants buyers. These are the individuals or families who rent the property first and then have the options to buy it later. Second, we have the developers who build the houses and offer them under RTO scheme. Third, are the bank or financial institution which provide financings when the tenants eventually convert the rental into a purchase. There are also lawyers responsible for preparing the sales and purchase agreement or SPA and the loan agreement when buyers proceed to purchase. A property valuer is involved also to conduct valuations of the house during the sale of conversion stage. Finally, insurance companies may also be involved, especially if the life insurance coverage is required when the buyers take up the home loan. Continue with who qualified for RTO in Malaysia. Generally, RTO targets individuals from the B40 and M40 income group. It also helps people who cannot afford the 10% down payment or those who may not be able to obtain a full approval at the moment but can afford monthly rent. RTO is also suitable for individuals with a salary slip but a tight debt service ratio DSR, making them temporarily not eligible for the financings. It also helps those who need time to stabilize their financial status before buying a home. And finally, RTO is often chosen by first-time home buyers who want an easier entry into home ownership. Then, let's see who benefits from rent-to-own. First are the buyers because they can move in first and buy later. They don't need to pay a large upfront deposits. They have more time to prepare financially and they can test the property and location before fully committing. Next, developers. Developers benefit because RTO helps increase sales for unsold or slow-moving units. It also speeds up occupancy for completed projects and attracts buyers who cannot commit to an immediate purchase. Banks benefits by gaining potential new customers when tenants convert to purchase. They also face lower risk because the tenant's rental payment behavior can be monitored first. When the buyer finally applies for financing, the bank already has a clearer customer profile. Lastly, the government benefits from RTO because RTO helps improve home ownership rates for B40 and M40 groups. It also supports national housing initiative and ensures better utilizations of government's backed housing scheme. Next, I'll proceed with when RTO started in Malaysia. The idea of policy origins date back to 2015. According to academic reviews, the Ministry of Housing and Local Government begins discussing RTO in the proposal for the 12th Malaysia Plan. Later, the RTO concept was formally included in the National Housing Policy from 2018 to 2022. The first major RTO product in Malaysia was the bank-led RTO introduced by Maybank Islamic, called Housekey. It was launched on 23 November 2017. Initially, it was offered only to Maybank employees, and then it was opened to the public in January 2018. Later on, the Prima RTO scheme was announced as part of government affordable housing effort. It was planned for launch in June 2021. Finally, we look at when RTO is suitable for buyers. RTO is ideal if you want to test living in the property first before committing. It is also suitable when you want to lock into this property price but plan to buy it later. RTO is a good option for slow-moving or unsold projects, where developers offer RTO promotions to attract buyers. It is also suitable if you expect your income to increase within the next 2 to 5 years, giving you time to qualify for bank financing later. Lastly, RTO is beneficial in areas where property prices are rising steadily, allowing buyers to secure the price early while renting first.